Hey everyone, here we are. This is Evan Netsch. We have the new Lift High Aspect X wings, the High Aspect Race 110, 150, crazy fast, crazy new exciting wing for Lift. Check it out.
Thank you guys so much for tuning back. We got such a special one today. We have the new Lift High Aspect X, fastest foils in the market right now. We have pro rider Evan Netsch, amazing foiler. We're gonna dive into the latest and greatest with Lift foils. These wings are fast, so let's get into it. Evan, let's break it down.
So I've got the High Aspect X wing in my hand. This is the existing 120, just for reference. I rode this wing yesterday. It's available in two sizes, the 110 and a 150. I rode the 110 yesterday for the first time ever, surf foiling. I was pretty blown away, to be honest. The thing is next level speed. Pumping, you just blaze. It was super obvious like how much faster it was. The 120 hit the market and everybody was like kind of blown away how fast that wing was. And the 90 hit the market, blown away again how fast that 90 was, how good it was for downwinders. This literally blows the 120 out of the water. I didn't back-to-back it with the 90. It felt like it's definitely faster than the 90, but it's got quite a lot of lift as well. It's got a ton of glide. It's definitely super high aspect, as you can see. Aspect ratio 13.1, which is pretty insane. Super thin, pretty low camber, so it's really, really fast. As you would imagine, it likes speed. It definitely kind of likes straight lines. It's got a pretty big wingspan.
So the customer for this is going to be what? SUP,
sure,
pumping, what's it going to be?
I really loved it surfing. Like for small waves, pumping around, it was insane. But you're not carving top to bottom on the wave, like certainly like not like you are on the 90. The 120's definitely got better roll. I think the standard high aspect line from Lift, the HA 90, 120, 170, 200, and we're also coming out with the HA 70. We're adding to that line. Definitely is a surfier wing. It pumps insanely well. It's got a lot more roll. It's got a lot more performance on a wave. This has a lot more performance in the sense of speed. So I think going downwind, doing downwinders specifically, whether you're prone, chip shot in, cruising downwind, on a SUP, even I think winging in lighter wind or winging racing, the thing is just insanely fast. That's what this wing's designed for. It's not, for me, gonna replace the 90 or the 120. This is not my one wing quiver, but for doing those downwinders, if you live in a spot where you're looking to go downwind, absolutely insane. 110 would probably be my size. I felt like it compared pretty nicely to the 120 in terms of kind of like lift and ability to pump. It was certainly a different wing, but if you like the 120 I think feels like a right size wing for you. I think this 110 is probably a great size for you doing downwinders. And then there's the 150, which I haven't ridden. It's got a little more cord to it. That way the wingspan's just not absolutely insane.
The word on the street in Hood River,
the 150 is like, apparently there's one in Hood River.
Game changer right now.
There's one in Hood River we hear, and it's a battle for who has that thing in their car to go downwind. I guess that was kind of last summer. There was one out there that people were testing. They didn't have a 110, they just had a 150, and there were like fights breaking out in the parking lot practically, people trying to get the 150.
And a good thing for you guys to know is yesterday I rode the 110. It's lightning. I'm telling you, I'm not great at pumping. It's totally lightning fast. But we put Sebastian, a friend of ours, who's 205 pounds, who really wants the 150. That's his size, that's what he wants. He uses a current 170 high aspect of the version, the standard 170 that we have, Lift foils. And he rode this 110, could not believe the speed, and now his thoughts are, I may actually just keep my 170 high aspect, now current, that he can ride in smaller waves. And he has this 110 to blaze, and he's 205 pounds, and he didn't think he could pump this, and he got this thing going in like ankle chop. So it likes speed, it's crazy fast.
We have two different high aspect models essentially. We have the regular high aspect line, that's a 70s being added to it, so HA 70, 90, 120, 170, and 200. That 90 through 200 are unchanged, so obviously just that 70s being added. And then the high aspect X is getting inserted into that line, really as a pretty different foil.
And that's 110 and 150.
Yeah, it really is a different user, a different foil, different user. is not replacing the 120. It's not replacing the 170.
And the specs on these that's important to know is in the high aspect line, the 70 is 12.4 aspect ratio. The 90 is 11 aspect ratio. The 110 high aspect X, brand new, is 13.1. The 120 high aspect is 10.2. The 150 high aspect X is 10.1. And then the 170 is 8.1, just to give you guys a general idea of, you know, aspect ratio. Everybody looks at that, you know, that's wingspan, that's glide. There's a lot, you know, I think the hardest thing about foils that we just want to say is this: they all ride different. They all do things good and bad, fast, lots of lift, slow, carvy. It's good for you to understand and really break down. What I would say about this lineup that just got launched, you're talking speed, you're talking distance, you're talking speed.
Efficiency. It's efficiency.
Speed.
The efficiency is like so obviously apparent. The second I got on it, it was just like you pump and you just project. And that's how I felt with the 120. When I first rode the 120, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is fast, and you pump, you go. Now, I felt like I was dragging seaweed on the 120.
Yeah,
literally that difference.
And the
is
120
insane.
was the game changer of speed and performance at one point. And what's really cool for people to know is, look, you gotta try these, or you gotta see what works for you, because it depends on what you're doing, whether you're winging, whether you're proning, whether you're SUPing, whatever it may be. These are stiff, made bomber, a lot of options for you. But Lift Foils, I'd say, is known for incredible performance. And again, they just hit another level. And I think you guys are gonna see what is gonna go down, especially, in my opinion, I think the 150 is gonna be a really good home run for people, because this 110 is performance. I actually think it's almost too much performance for me, but I fell in love with it in one day and I don't even have time on it. And I just feel you gotta try these things. Incredible performance. The level of foils is changing more and more and more. And we just need to, you need to know this, because if there's a deal on some foils, look, it's a deal for a reason, because it's probably one of the first gens. Not saying it won't foil. Most things will foil. But the evolution of what things are doing and how much easier things are becoming.
Let's talk about tail wings for a second on
Okay.
it. I tried 2 different tails yesterday. I just thought it'd be an interesting experiment for myself. Lift has 2 different model tail wings. They have the glide tails. They're flatter, less pitch on a longer fuselage section. And then there's the Carve series tails, the 26 to 33, where you've got the little wingtips on a shorter fuselage. I've generally been riding the Carve myself. It turns better, it rolls better, maybe a little trickier to pump. I rode this first with the glide, the 25 glide, the smallest glide tail, because that tail is the most efficient. That longer fuselage helps you pump a little bit better. I rode it with the glide. I was like, holy crap, this thing's super fast. Felt good, very locked in. Came in, swapped to the 26 Carve, which has kind of been my go-to on the 90 that I've been riding the most. Rode that on this 110. This is just an opinion from a single session, so don't take this home. But I really felt like I expected the 26 to slow it down a little bit. Didn't notice that. I'm very used to the 26 tail though. The pumping still seemed to be pretty much, I don't even know if I could really tell if it was any worse. I expected it to be a little harder to pump with the 26 tail over the 25. I felt like I was still right there, and it turned just a little better. Still pretty locked in the turn. Still really wants you to just shoot straight, blast downwind. But I felt like it did loosen it up a little bit with the 26 tail. I didn't really lose much pumping. I would probably just run my same 26 tail on this swing. But then the last thing I want to mention that I totally haven't tried is Lift also has a fuselage extender, so you can move all those tails back, whether it's the 25 to 26, a larger tail, which is going to really kind of help give you a little more leverage. It's going to increase your stability as well, but it should also increase your pumping ability. I haven't tried that. I'm really curious to.
Just a real quick, sorry to interrupt, a quick breakdown for people, just a general idea. If I shorten this fuselage in any wing, so the Carves are shorter, the glides are longer, or I add the extenders, which makes this even longer. When I shorten this turn becomes much easier. So your pitch,
it's
your
a faster
pitch turn.
cadence. It's a faster cadence on the pump, I think. It's smaller, quicker pumps.
The longer you go, you're gonna get more stability, because you have more stability, but you can also decrease the size of your wing as you go further back, because in theory, you don't need as much And if it's bigger, it's just more drag back there. So just some things for you guys to know. You know, in theory, this gives me, the glides give me a nice easy pump because I'm not quite as skilled as Evan. But when I wing foil or I do anything else with wind powered, I run the carves, because the carves I can pull everything in close, and my turning, my knifing of a turn is insanely more different, and just wanted to hammer that one.
Yeah, I think just having those different wing options there are really nice. I got to try what was kind of my two favorites, my two go-tos. I think my takeaway was they weren't as different as I expected on this, but I would still go with that 26 carve, just add a little more roll into it. It was great, still super fast. But honestly, overall, I'm pretty stoked to have this wing and just add it into my quiver, because I love doing downwinders. I'm okay at it, but not great, and I'm so happy to have something just like that much better, that much faster, just to stay up on foil and blaze downwind. I'm like so pumped to take this thing down to Puerto Rico this winter.
If you're looking for speed, you got to check out Lift Foils, HAXs, the 110 and the 150. We always leave on a good note, people. We love you guys. What I wanted to hammer today is what you do right now is so important, because look, 10 years from now, doesn't matter what shirt you're wearing, what hat you have on. What matters is the experiences, the lessons, the loved ones, the people that you meet along that road. Those experiences you're not going to take home with you a shirt, a pair of pants. It's not what you look like. It's not how cool you are. Get out there and live like this human right here who gets out and lives his life.
Enjoy every moment.
That's it. Be grateful. Appreciate everybody. Like and subscribe, because we're going to keep driving this home. We're going to hopefully motivate you to go live your best life. So we love you guys. We appreciate you. Take a look at the link in the description. Join our Patreon and follow this dude right here, Evan Netsch. He does crazy things. So on that note, see you next week.
Thanks for having me.